I was, the other day we were at a local university with pre-med students, and you were doing a lecture. There must have been at least 200, 250 pre-med students, and you had pretty much had the highest score on your MCAT, your medical examinations getting in, so everybody was on the edge of their seat wanting to hear what you had to say. You're very straightforward about your faith. You went to med school at Harvard, so here's a man of faith, but yet a man of science. And for the average person, they think, with many atheists out there today, a minority, but yet a very vocal minority, trying to say, as I heard one man saying the other day, he was trying to draw the correlation that the higher your education, then the lower your faith would be, trying to make that kind of almost arrogant statement. Not so in your case. Medical degree, PhD in physics. Talk about the balance. You are a Christian. You love Jesus Christ. You're proud to say, in a hope and a godly way, that you're part of our fellowship. But you are very bold about your Christian faith, and that there is no contradiction in your Christian faith and your stance as a man of science. Talk about that.
You know, in year 2010 today, we are living in a very exciting, changing world with lots of material comfort and things in life. But sometimes we look deeper. They ask ourselves questions. What are the questions we're trying to answer with our lives? And I think one of those critical questions today is, what should we do when science is marching forward, research is marching forward? How can we advance science and research while still maintaining our moral guidance and principles, especially as a Christian, that still we have to maintain our faith and beliefs, and there are certain boundaries we cannot cross. So that's a critical question affecting all scientists, all doctors, all who are involved in research. I've been faced with that question all the time as we're studying research questions, trying to study the blindness, how to restore sight in the blind patients. As a medical student, I was asked to take care of some of the blind patients. And those patients, after initial injury, a few months later, became blind due to scarring. And I asked my professor, I said, how can I find a way to reduce the scarring, to preserve the vision? And my professor said, well, that's a very difficult question. Let's begin the study. And this was 15 years ago. And so as we study, we realized that young people heal much better. A newborn heal even better. An unborn heal even better. But here's the question, very typical of today's question in science. You want to know how the little baby heal. But as a Christian, we do not want to hurt the baby. So how can you understand how the little baby heal, the biology, the science of it, without touching any part of the baby? So the world does appear to be contradictory. Do you do science, not to do science? How do you maintain?
And you're referencing stem cells.
Exactly.
People have framed the issue of stem cell research that somehow that to be able to use unborn children, but you're answering this dilemma, and I'm getting ahead of you, but just so people understand, you're talking about stem cells, but you found the answer to that dilemma, and you were going to give that.
Yes, and so the world does appear to be on the surface contradictory. That how can we understand stem cells, amniotic membranes, fetal wound healing, do research without compromising our moral ethical principles? I feel that the world in its original design by God is perfect, is not contradictory. It may appear to be contradictory to us because we don't know better. So I think God wants us to persist, to persevere, to have a faith and confidence that things will work out. And the true test of Christian is not when things are going well, but when things are not going so well and when it appears to be contradictory. So in this case, in the stem cell research, I feel that God wants us to use stem cells. God wants us to advance science to treat Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, to help Christopher Reeve of the world and Michael J. Fox of the world. But at the same time, as Christians, we have moral, ethical boundaries and guidelines. In stem cells, we realized that there are two kinds of stem cells. There are adult stem cells and the embryonic stem cells. And the adult stem cells are donated by someone who agreed to donate organs before death. So these folks, passed away and they donated eyes and liver and heart. And through science, we can cultivate the stemness, some of those donated organs from someone who passed away, and then transplant those stem cells, those adult stem cells, on patients to preserve and restore their sight. Now, this is a perfect example that adult stem cell is what God wants us to use. Because He wants us to advance science, and He does not want us to hurt the babies.
Now, also also in the amniotic membrane, you were describing how that when a baby is born in the amniotic membrane, you actually take the stem cells from the amniotic membrane. The baby is born successfully, but then you can use stem cells from that. Why don't you explain that?
Yeah, so we actually just got stuck because we were trying to understand how the little baby healed, but as a Christian and a scientist, I don't want to touch any part of the baby. However, we realized that each baby, when the baby is born, is encased in an amniotic membrane. So after the baby is born, the amniotic sac collapsed and is discarded. So we had this idea, perhaps I will harvest that discarded amniotic membrane. And because it was connected to the baby before birth, so we postulate that maybe the amniotic membrane has the same youthful, scarless healing property as the baby, him or herself, but not being part of the baby, just was connected. It's like a blanket connected to the baby. So we took the amniotic membrane, donated by mother who, after giving birth to a baby, they donated the amniotic membrane to us. I transplanted that onto adult injured eyes and recreate a fetal-like environment. And it's almost like a tapping fountain youth. And basically, underneath that fetal membrane, that adult cell, its own youthful healing ability got reawakened. And I started to heal just like a baby. So a few weeks later, when we removed this amniotic membrane, instead of seeing a blind scar eye, we see a clear vision eye.
It's amazing.
And we were very excited. We published the first paper in the scientific literature demonstrating the reduction of corneal scarring with the amniotic membrane transplantation and to receive US patent. But more importantly, as our laboratory was celebrating, all the doctors and scientists were celebrating the scientific achievement. But as a Christian, I realized that there's even much more significant things has happened. That is a validation, proof that God wants us to research, wants us to advance science, wants us to improve medicine and help our patients. But do it in a way that we feel right as a Christian. In this case, He wants us to use, He does not want to touch the baby, but He wants us to use the amniotic membrane surrounds the baby to help healing in adult. So as we were celebrating, I felt like God was up there looking down and said, see, I told you all.